Hey, Email and Coffee with Joy Brooks. And today I'm talking with Joe Rudd from across the pond. And I don't know him, and I'm taking this wonderful opportunity to find out all about him, which is why I do Email and Coffee. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi Joe. Thank you for
Hey,
having me. Um,
bet.
sure. A little bit about me. I work in marketing and have been doing so for since 2018 now. Spent some time in lots of different roles, wearing lots of different hats for everything from SMEs to Times 100 companies over here in the UK. Which is sort of seven-figure companies normally, and sort of bounced around a little bit in generalist roles. And then about a year and a half ago, I started really focusing on content and sort of thinking about content quite holistically. But right from the early days, I've had a real sort of focus on social media and on content strategy, and I lean a little bit into video as well. So, like I say, quite a diverse range there. And I've actually just left working in house to start an agency with a couple of friends, and I'm now freelancing as a content strategist whilst we get things set up. So that's me in a nutshell, I suppose.
I took somewhat of the same route where, but well, I was I was about 20 years into my career when I changed from doing classic media, which was first television and then print. Um, and I wound up, thankfully so, in the internet and then an email. And I've been in email ever since the year like 2006 or something.
Sure.
And at that point in time, I had marketing jobs where I was doing a lot of different marketing, including email marketing. And I realized that my personality didn't fit corporate America, which it was there in the back of my head the whole time. Like, why isn't this working?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why, at least I think this, was that I look at work as a service that I do, a service I provide. I don't like to work for a company
Hmm.
with some mission that can change on a dime that
Yeah.
I'm completely unaware of, and do projects without really being able to understand the bigger picture. Or even, I don't want to use the word control, but be able to make a decision on my own. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to do that. I don't like that. That's not what I want to do, or, um, and I mean, it was very difficult. It was hard coming to that decision in 2006. And I think my husband at that point in time thought I was a lunatic because he's like, what are you talking? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know, not really. Not, and then not a lot of people understand what I'm talking about or what I want to do, but I'm going to do it. And he's like, okay, whatever,
Sure.
don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
So, you know, I did it, but I was really comfortable in email marketing, and by staying in that niche, I learned everything about it. So, whether it was email marketing as a social channel, as a marketing channel, as a vehicle for cold email. I mean, there's so much that I
So many different
was
angles, right?
learning. It's exactly. It was big. It was huge, and I'm very happy I'm in it. And it served as a launching piece for me to be able to talk to other people, and where I am today, doing lots of different things with my brand's Email and Coffee. So,
Yeah.
I enjoy talking with people who are at different points in their career these days, obviously, can't be in the past. And, thinking about different things. There's a whole different lifestyle now where a lot of people take pride in not only the work they do, the service they provide, but they take pride in their time off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whether it's private, whether it's with a family, whatever that time off is, it's as important today. So lots of things have changed um, with the concept of work. The digital space seems to provide the best way to deliver that lifestyle.
Almost definitely, and that's I think that's been accelerated since COVID and stuff like that. When people started working from home and people started, this nomadic lifestyle type thing that a lot of people talk about, like the digital economy has provided so many opportunities for this sort of new way of working, if you like. It's crazy. Um,
Yeah, and
yeah.
you could literally. I mean, we're not recreating the wheel, but there's so many different wheels that we can put into place.
Yeah, yeah, that's the truth right there. Um, and I think it's just made things easier, right? Like I think, um, why wouldn't you want to try and balance those things when it's becoming more acceptable? And people are trying to balance work with actually what am I doing outside of work. Like I'm a prime example of that. Like for me, um, for pretty much as long as I can remember, work has been something that fuels the things that I want to do outside of work. That's it. So I want to work. I want to provide a great service. I want to be good at my job. I take a lot of pride in what I do. But at the end of the day, work is something that fuels my life outside of work. It allows me to spend time with my friends, spend time with family, go traveling, whatever it might be. So
Right.
yeah, definitely see a lot of that, and I think I would say a lot, sort of speaking on behalf of a lot of my friends and people that I went to university with and stuff like that, that they feel the same way. So I think definitely different from that sort of. I can imagine corporate America 20 years ago. That's quite a bold move back then to be saying, okay, I want to
Yeah,
approach
it
this
was pretty
digital world.
rigid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty. You had mentioned that your mindset was shifting
Hmm.
in the work that you do, and one of the things that the biggest thing that I see today, really, is how video is overtaking everything.
Yes. Every channel, every aspect of life, everything. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. No.
And the old method of communication where we would sit in front of our TV and we would consume that kind of content, the content that's delivered to us.
Hmm.
We have 3 or 4 different channels. On Tuesday night, it's so and so. Oh, that one hasn't been picked up. It canceled. We'll never see them again. That is done, and it's almost the paradigm has shifted so much. We're still looking for heroes.
Yeah.
We're still looking for inspiration. We still want to cry. We still want to feel bad. We still want to feel good. We still want to be afraid. All of the things that
The
humans
same
got out of
aspects are there. Yeah.
entertainment. Yes, but now it's shifting into homemade stuff. Like, oh, I could do that.
But
Oh, you
yeah,
can? Yeah, watch me.
yeah. Let me do it. Let me do it.
Let me do it.
And
Let me
yeah,
do it.
and I think that kind of comes from two angles. I think the one, like the authenticity aspect, like like you say, we still want emotion, we still want heroes, we still want story, we still want those human values, but we want them from people that we can relate to. We want them from real world people. And then on the flip side, from like a creator's point of view, if you're in that sort of let me show you, let me do it type mentality, like the bar just keeps getting lower and lower. Like it's so easy to I can record a decent quality video on my phone now, edit it and publish it all within a couple of hours in one device. Like it's the bar just keeps getting lower and lower.
And careers can literally be launched with over one video.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, exactly that.
It's just a matter of getting it out there and having, I don't know, it catches on. I'm not one to say that everybody needs to be on TikTok, but it really, TikTok is essentially what YouTube was
Hmm.
and then YouTube grew up, and
Yeah.
it changed totally into TikTok.
Yeah.
And the thing is, TikTok won't be the last thing available. It will keep going. There has to be a point where it's too much. Like, how many social medias can I watch?
Yeah.
Oh, are you on Instagram? Are you on TikTok? Are you on Facebook? You're like, come on, I can't do all these things.
No.
You sort of pick what you want, but things like Spotify going into Audible books, that makes a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the types of, I didn't want to call them disruptive because it's not, but Amazon would think it would be disruptive. I mean, that Spotify goes into Audible books, it's disrupting the Amazon model.
Of course, yeah.
But the point is that if Spotify can do Audible books,
Yeah.
then can they do Audible visual books? So the thing is, somebody's going to come up with yet another idea.
Yeah, I mean, these things are going to keep going. In answer to the Spotify thing, that's just a matter of time because Spotify are already moving to video podcasts. So it's just a matter of time until the audiobooks follows, and then we're going full circle into Spotify is now a video platform. And the same thing keeps happening. And like you said, with the world keeps moving, right? Because TikTok came out to replace what used to be YouTube, and now TikTok are quite publicly announcing that they're trying to take on YouTube. So they're trying to follow that same trajectory of being a search platform and moving into longer format video, which just makes no sense to me because they're kind of losing what's special about them.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But yeah, so like the whole thing just keeps moving, and I think exactly like there is no limit because TikTok will do what it did. Excuse me, my phone's just ringing. I have to
go. Life is real. Life interrupt us.
Apologies.
That's quite alright.
Put it on silent. Didn't want that going off in the background of your podcast.
Yeah, he's a real guy. He has phones and pets. Probably. Do you have any pets? No pets?
No pets at the moment.
I have pets, so
yeah, no.
Usually they interrupt everything.
Soon, hopefully, the plan is to get a dog. I'm a big dog guy, but we'll see.
It'll give you yet another reason to get out.
Yeah.
But you were saying, you were talking about things changing.
Yeah, so just like like TikTok's trying to follow the trajectory of YouTube. Spotify's moving into the video world. Like these patterns, they move in what I like to think of them as sort of forward circular motions. Like the same things keep happening over and over again, and then that propels itself forward into new things. So yeah, inevitable that things will just keep going. But I'm also seeing one of the things that you mentioned there was like how many social platforms can I have? How much time can I spend on this? Like there is a little bit of pushback. Like you speak to people and like myself included, I might be sort of on the other end of the scale because I spend all of my time on social and all my time on screens. But like a lot of people I speak to, like they look forward to unplugging now. They look forward to either completely putting the device away. I've seen weekend holidays now where you lock your phone in a box and things like that, or they look for things that give depth because short form content is just driving them mental. So there's a lot in play.
One of the things when I started to do email and coffee, a lot of people say, how long is it? And I'm like, well, I like to do about an hour. And they're like, oh, that's crazy. No one listens to an hour. No one completes it. And I'm like, I agree. But I'm still going to do it because I can't really have a conversation with somebody in 20 minutes.
No.
It's too light and I can't really get into any kind of depth. And what I'm hoping is that at some point in time, any one conversation that I'm having will get seen in entirety because one person does connect with the conversation. And that's really all that I'm looking for. I'm not trying to be, for everything for everybody. I get it, and we're saturated with podcasts and, long form video and short form video. And we're saturated with recipes and, challenges and do it yourself. I mean, it's all over the place, but there's there is engagement out there. People are looking for some things, and I use myself um, as a gauge, and I use myself as the non-marketing me. So at the end of my day, whenever that is, um, I don't go to LinkedIn and have a conversation. I will go to Facebook and I will start looking at Reels.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking at TikTok.
Yeah. So it's
You know,
just short
so,
form video
but
on
I
another
don't want
platform,
to
right?
have another account with another, so I'm just like, I'll just take a look at what's available on Facebook and I'll play these out.
Yep.
And 2 hours later, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it's time for me to go to bed, and I do, but I watch a certain, I'm into a certain niche. It's pets and it's recipes.
Yeah. And it's amazing how quickly the
So,
feed gets that.
and I think a lot of people do that. I also I don't watch television anymore, but I do binge not on Netflix and Amazon. I do.
Hmm.
I don't need another channel because that I don't need Disney or anything like that. Amazon and Netflix are enough for me.
There's plenty there, yeah.
I don't watch everything, but I have my favorites, and I'm thinking, I can't be the only one like this.
No, definitely not. And I think there are a lot of people that take that same approach, especially when you remove yourself, when you try and separate yourself as a marketer from yourself as a person and just look at how you behave as a person, like you're saying then, like you get a lot of insight into how most people behave because you're probably not that different to the masses as much as you might like to be. So yeah, no, definitely.
I try to remember to separate myself. I should say, I mentally disengage myself as a marketer and say, what is my experience
Sure.
right now? What am I doing? And I'm like going through my email and I'm doing something else. And I'm saying, okay, I'm not doing it as a marketer right now.
Yeah.
I'm doing it as a human being. Oh, it's my turn to say, excuse me. I just have my gardener is here and my dogs are outside and there's about to be World War III. Hold on.
No worries.
Okay, you stay. Girl. Good girls. Yes, life interruptus. Friday in the suburbs on Long Island, you get your lawn cut by someone else. I used to do it myself, and my husband passed away,
Right.
and my husband did everything. He was my hero, and then he passed away. So I had a lawnmower, and I'd lawn mow my backyard, and my shoes turned green, and I got muscles, and it would be like half a day on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, it was a lot easier when I used to help him than now I'm doing it all myself. So he told me, he was like, get yourself a gardener. I'm like, okay, honey, gardener, that's it, done.
Got it.
So I sold the lawnmower, and I'm not privileged. It's nothing to do with privilege. It's just like, you know what? I don't want to, kill myself out there.
No, there's some things you can justify, right? and not killing
Some
yourself
things
on a
you just
weekend.
can't do yourself,
Yeah.
right? You've got to learn. You've got to learn your limits. But I do like the other part of gardening. So I do. I've got a shovel and I've got a rake and I do lots of. I'm out there pruning my trees and all that kind of stuff. But the gardener cuts the grass because I really don't like green shoes. It's like, I have a thing with shoes. Green
One
shoes.
thing too many.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, just. So we were talking about the digital space and how social. Um, I'm not the type of person to look at it and say, "Oh, these days everything's terrible and people are terrible and it's all going to hell in a handbasket." I don't like to do that
Yeah.
because that's a really negative
Yeah.
way to look at life.
That's a quick way to
So
fall down that rabbit hole.
yeah, so I try to say, okay, so okay, my parents would have no clue what to do with social,
Mhm.
not a clue, and they would say, "You do what with what? When? Why? Why would you do that?" Um, and I get that, and I say so. I've got a lot of friends that make a point of saying, okay, and they do it on social. I'm disconnecting this weekend, and I'm saying, why don't you just disconnect? Do you have to make an announcement on
Yeah,
everything? And that's where I find that social is a problem. That people need to announce everything.
yeah,
I just brushed my teeth, and I don't really care. Here's a picture. Okay,
yeah,
very nice. But
yeah.
there, we're inundated with everything, and that's um, why I think there's a lot of people that are disconnecting because they're just like, okay, I can't do this anymore.
It's just too much, right?
It's not important.
No, no, exactly. And there is a lot of noise and there is a lot of stuff like that out there. And I think, it comes from a place of like, there are a lot of people that are self interested. There are a lot of people that are just bored and they want to share what's going on in their life, like whatever it might be. Um, from a human behavior point of view, like I've always found that kind of stuff really odd because, if I had guests staying at my house for the weekend, I'm not going to come downstairs and tell them that I've just brushed my teeth. So why would I do that on social media? Like, so I've just always found that kind of thing really odd. But each to their own, I
It's a
guess.
new thing. I think it's going to continue to evolve. It's going to continue to evolve, and it's going to mature. It's like a kid right now. It
Yeah,
is a kid, and
sure.
it's very childish. It's going to mature where, um, you know, I find the the internet to be one of the. It's like a library for me. It's like I don't know the answer. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
Oh, the answer is, and it may not be spot on. It may not be the only answer, but it's damn good to start with.
yeah,
There are things you can't discover on the internet, right? But if you need, I mean, I found when I was in the garden doing a lot of the things I needed to do in the garden, the manly stuff. I was like, I don't know how to do this. Well, I bet there's a video on it, so I'll just go Google that, and I find how to
yeah,
fix my lawnmower, how to fix my deck, how
yeah,
to all of these things you can, and that's where I find that it's settling in, that people
sure.
are finding, what I can, like the recipe people, the, there are a number of cooks out there that have lots of personality,
Yeah,
that are doing these really great videos with really interesting food, and I like food,
yeah.
and I like to cook.
Big foodie.
So I'm like, that's how you find yourself on the internet.
Of course it
That's
is.
how you do it.
Yeah. Uh,
But the point is, not everybody's got talent. Some people don't have the talent. Maybe they're producers, maybe they're writers, maybe they're not the talent,
sure.
in the screen. But
Yeah, and you think about that stuff, it's not really surprising. Like the internet ultimately is just information sharing, right? So whether you're talking about social, whether you're talking about Google, like it's information sharing. And then I've experienced that myself. Like say, like sort of learning how to do stuff, but then and there are a lot of great people out there who are sharing great advice. And then you go back to that, like I said a second ago, you get other people who are self-interested or bored or like whatever it might be, and they're putting out noise, and then that it gets confusing. Then when you're especially on a social feed or something like that, where you're just scrolling, and then you've got this balance of like, okay, I'm trying to follow these people because they actually put out quality content, and then these the quality posts end up being a tenth of my feed, and the rest of it is noise.
it's noise.
Um,
Also, I think that people may discover themselves. They may also discover that there's nothing to discover,
mhm.
and that they need to live a life and get off.
Yep.
Like you said, like you said, a lot of your peers and buddies are like disconnecting over the weekend.
Yep.
Um, I don't think of every moment of everything that I do as a Facebook moment,
No. No.
and I don't um, think, how do I um, position myself on LinkedIn so that people are going to follow me or engage with me, um, and that may be that may not be a good thing for a marketer, but I'm finding that I'm getting a little tired with LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is one of the most important tools for for myself, for business people like us, for
Yeah,
digital people to find other digital people.
yeah,
I think it's a gold mine, but I think it's there's something happening on LinkedIn. I don't know what's happening.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing on LinkedIn is the shift to a creator focus. So obviously, like a year or so ago, whatever it was, LinkedIn set up this options for creator accounts, and that's attracted the creators. But because of where LinkedIn was positioned as a career professional environment, and as it normally happens anyway, like some of the first people to go there have been marketers, and then marketers have just dominated this space of being the creators on there, and now, especially if you are a marketer, you're likely to have a lot of connections within the marketing space. Like it feels like it's just this dominant like feed of self-promotional people talking about marketing, and that's just snowballing.
That's
I,
exactly.
yeah, and I think we will move away from that. But I think I try and remember that it's probably not like that for 98% of the people on LinkedIn. It's just that if you're in that marketing bubble, like you're seeing a lot of that, especially at the moment.
Yeah, I think that LinkedIn is also attempting to switch things up a little bit, and sometimes that throws the momentum for us
Yeah.
because we're so used to some sort of a formula,
Hmm.
and then they change things up, and that formula doesn't work.
Yeah.
But that's innovation, and that's inevitable.
Yeah.
And I think that it forces us to be better creators.
Of course.
I have this really, a lot of people hate me for this. I always say things that go against the grain, but it's not that I don't like stories. Trust me, I think stories, what we're doing right now is telling our story.
Yeah.
But I don't think that endless storytelling for every social channel is the way to go.
Hmm.
It's not the way to go. At some point in time, the person you're talking to doesn't want to hear your story. They want to know what it is that you want from them
Yeah.
and either connect or disconnect.
Yeah.
So it, and I think LinkedIn knows this. I
Of
mean,
course.
they know that, oh my goodness, we've got all these, these the same formula going on where 3 lines, look below, click it,
Yeah.
okay, engage.
Everybody's playing the same game. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Everybody's playing the same game. And I think they're forcing, they maybe, I don't know, maybe they don't even know, maybe they're not doing this intentionally. I don't know. Maybe it's happening organically. But I'm like, I'm ready for the next trend, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't want to pick it up from someone else. It needs to come in from myself. And I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So I tend to push back. So I'm a little bit of a grumbly person where everybody's, doing a line dance and I'm sitting down and everybody's like, come on, it's very fun. I'm
Come
like,
join.
no, I'll sit
Yeah. Yeah.
just-
I do think, and this is, I've got no insight, no data, no research, no anything. This is purely gut feel. I do think the LinkedIn are pushing back on it a little bit. Um, I, if you just look at the past 6 to 12 months of activity, like I say, sort of, it was like around a year ago that they really sort of switched to this creator mode type thing, and people started racking up followers, and people started really pushing hard on self promotion on LinkedIn, and then lots of people have had huge jump starts if you compare it to any other following. Like the the reach that you got on LinkedIn was just absolutely insane. Like if you've got a few thousand followers, you'd need like 1 million followers on Instagram to compare the two. Like the reach was crazy, and so that sort of happened. That's launched, and now we're in this position where I think the number, at least a couple of months ago, the number was 1% of LinkedIn are content creators. And I think a lot of those people, like I said a second ago, a lot of that 1% are marketers or people within the marketing type space or self-promotion, business services of some kind. And I think LinkedIn's sort of gone, okay, well, we want creators because that's the thing that's getting attention on all the other platforms. And then they've gone, oh, wait, all of the creators are just this one kind of person. We need to dial it back a bit. And that's why you're seeing a lot of people talk about, reduced reach and stuff like that now. And I think they're trying to say, whoa, we want creators, but we don't just want you guys shouting all the time. And that's kind of my gut feel on it.
The other thing that I'm finding is that LinkedIn really is your resume.
Mm-hmm.
Social, the rest of social can be your resume as well, whether you like it or not. It is, because it's out there and anybody can find it. So when somebody looks you up, they find your LinkedIn. That's if it's business related, they're going to go to LinkedIn first.
Sure.
Most likely. And they're going to see what you've been talking about and things of that nature. And so people are using LinkedIn as their resume, and marketers are insanely branding themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I see this branding happening and it's rippling out. And so not everybody's catching on, but people are saying, wait a minute, are you basically saying that I can brand myself?
Yep, the personal brand approach, right?
The personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where LinkedIn, I think, is becoming saturated, because people are catching on to that and they're just playing with it. They don't really necessarily know what they're doing, and that's okay. Isn't life like that? So they're playing with that and they're thinking, I'll do a podcast, or I'll do a live show, or I'll do some voice. I'll do something. I'll just do something see, because I'm just interested to see where this is going to take me.
Yep.
And that is adding to the change in the corporate environment.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Because now people are not only saying, well, I'd rather work remote, they're also saying, I'd rather work remote and I'd rather work for more than one person. I'm not available to you full time.
Sure.
And then they, that's sort of where you probably started when you were working corporate and you're playing around with the internet and you're thinking to yourself, I think there's a better way. I don't know what it is. You're talking with your friends and your friends say the word agency and you're like, oh, that sounds right, right. Let's see what we could do with this. Let's roll it out.
Yeah.
And the agency concept is, let's do what we want to do and we'll pool our talent together.
Sure. Exactly that.
And so, I call the gardener. You're going to call your friend who's the writer, and call your other friend who's the podcaster, and call your other, and you're going to put something together all together.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think you mentioned it a little bit there, but one of the things that I saw is, obviously I'm part of that bubble, if you like, because I'm quite active on LinkedIn and self-promotion and stuff like that. But the thing that I saw, and the reason I really sort of decided to go hard on it, was I saw what was happening. I see a lot of these people talking about personal branding, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to jump into this world of I'm going to promote myself, and like you're saying, I'm going to start a podcast, I'm going to start talking about this, whatever it is. But the biggest thing that I saw is this rising scene of people who are promoting personal branding and people who are promoting LinkedIn influencing, if you like. And then, I went to a few in-person events. I started meeting some of the bigger names on LinkedIn in person and stuff like that. And then the thing that shocked me was that a lot of these people, almost exactly as you said, a lot of these people, they've got no marketing background. They've got no branding background. They don't know anything about, big picture marketing. They don't understand, the top, a basic funnel, for example. They don't understand the role that they're playing within that. They're just seeing this golden opportunity of, oh yeah, let's talk about personal branding because that's hot at the moment. And I think that's a dangerous place to be for a lot of people.
I've had the same experience where, one of the things that I pride myself is that I can actually do the work that I'm talking about. So
Yep.
I've been in email marketing. If you need somebody to do email marketing and even like hit the roadblock and
Hmm.
move past it, I could do that. I'm not frightened by, oh, it went into spam. Okay, so let's roll our sleeves up and keep going because it's
Yep.
going to go into spam. It's part of the business. Well, can't you do anything about that? Yes, I can. Let's be patient. Let's move
Yeah.
forward. I could do that. I'm like, oh no, spam. Oh my God, who do we call? What am I doing? That's not me.
No.
So, but a lot of other people know a lot about, know a little about a lot,
Yeah.
but their personalities. In other words, they look good, they sound good,
Hmm.
they can, they can talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk.
Yeah.
Now, I can walk the walk, and I can attempt to talk the talk, and
Which is a
that's what
much
I'm
better
doing.
way
But
to be.
I like to say that to myself at night when I go to bed, and I say, "Thank you, God, very much for this, that, and the other thing," and thank you very much, for giving me a brain. I'm not, fluff.
Sure.
I'm not a personality, and even though I have a podcast, I call myself that nagging woman from New York with that New York accent, that irritable person. And people are like, why do you put yourself down? I'm like, I'm not putting myself down. I'm being realistic. That's who I am. And
You
I'm
know yourself.
owning that. Yeah, I'm owning that. It's okay. I don't want anybody to say, "Oh, you're kind of like a negative kind of person," and I have me say, "Oh no, I'm not. You really hurt my feelings." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I'm that cynic from New York. Thank you very much. I'll say
That,
no
that's
before
that's
I
that's
say
my
yes."
lane. I'm gonna own that.
Yeah, exactly. It's who I am. Thank you, thank
Love
you.
it.
It's called know your boundaries. So but the issue is, or the truth of the matter is, that we need the fluff. I mean, that's Hollywood. All these
Yeah, of
people in
course.
Hollywood, they're fluff. They're nothing underneath. They're acting. Everything they do is acting, and it's been very entertaining.
Hmm.
And it is entertaining, and we need entertainers.
Yep.
So there's a need for everybody. I've learned in the last 5 years, when we think about competition, that you and I were competitors, and I should be. I'm like, not really, because what
No.
Joe's doing is not what I'm doing. We're in the same space. We may talk about the same thing, but we're not talking. We may be talking to the same people,
Yep.
but 5 of those people are going to walk off with me, and 10 of those people are going to walk off with him, and that's the way it should be. The end. He got more this time. That's okay. I
Sure.
can't even deal with the 5 people I've got. Let him deal with the 10 he's got. Thank you very much. You know, so I don't. I think that there's plenty of work out there.
Yeah.
Um, we just need to be able to not get greedy.
Yeah. No, I am.
And
I'm a big advocate of that. I think there is more than enough pie to go around for most people, and a lot of the people who have helped put me into a position where I can start my own company, a lot of the people that I've spoken to and have given great advice to help me and my co-founders sort of get set up and know and make the decision, even have been people that would traditionally have been thought of as competitors. And I mean, like direct competitors. Like we're setting up, essentially, we're setting up a video content agency, and some of the people who I've spent, I've been on calls with, I've met in real life, have given me great advice. They're video content agency owners that are in my city, and yet they're still more than happy to share and help because they share that philosophy of like there is enough pie to go around. So I think if everybody was that way, then we'd probably be all be a little bit better off. So I'm grateful
well,
for that.
yeah, we all need to take it down. Take it down a notch, because life is serious. But there's really a lot of room to move at this
Hmm.
point. And there are some things that we need to take seriously for certain. I'm not trying to say not, but there's very little. There's very little, if any, control that we have. We have no control. I tell myself this all the time. when I'm like, I'm living in absolute chaos and I'm trying to organize it every single day.
Yep.
I do that in every way I possibly can by, like controlling the food I eat, making lists so I get things done, waking up at specific times. I mean, everything that we do is trying to organize chaos. Life is chaos. We're on a ball spinning around with other planets and
In
things
the middle
getting
of, yep.
thrown all over the place. At any
Yep.
point in time, it's all over in a second, and we have no control over that. I mean,
Yep.
splat, done,
Done. Yep.
and
And
done.
it's funny you say that, the food you eat and the lists that you make and getting up at the right time, like all of the things that you are, quote unquote, controlling. The only thing you're controlling is your own thought process. Everything else is out of control anyway. So like,
Out of control.
that's it. Yeah,
That's right.
love it.
That's right. And it's just a matter of perception. If you say to yourself, it's okay, and you keep saying, it's okay, it's okay. It's not okay, but that doesn't matter. You say to yourself, it's okay.
I can deal with this.
I'm going to deal with this. And, truthfully, the option is it's either okay, it's sort of okay, or it's wildly not okay. Now, how am I going to deal with wildly not okay? I don't think I have the tools to do that. So it's sort of okay. Sometimes that's when it's bad, when it's sort of okay. When you're in a situation where it's sort of okay, that's when you need to say, if it's sort of okay, could it possibly be really, really bad?
Yeah.
And your like stomach goes, and you're like, oh, it's really bad. I have to make a decision. That's all.
Yep.
That's it. You know what's going on. It's just a matter of perception, being truthful with yourself.
Yeah.
And realizing that we live in chaos, utter chaos. And speaking of utter chaos, what types of things do you like to do when you're not working? Because I know you're like avidly out there.
Yeah. Like I say, so not working. Like I say, work for me, even though I love it, it's passionate, and I really sort of get stuck into it. I've got no problem working late on the weekdays and stuff like that. But work really sort of fuels my out of work life, and for me, that's anything adventurous. Really, I love to hike. I love to just be outdoors. I love to go camping. This weekend, I literally turned my phone off and spent 4 days camping in the Lake District, which is beautiful. It's a bit of countryside just in the north of England. So yeah, anything that just sort of gets me outdoors and adventurous. I love climbing. I ride motorcycles, but like anything that's outdoors, disconnected from the digital world, and just in nature is good for me.
Are you a risk taker?
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's all right. I'm not a risk taker, but I like being out there.
Yeah.
I like being out there. I'm not too fond of ticks, though. Do you have ticks in the UK?
They're not a big problem. We get like grass ticks, but they're a nuisance at best. Then
They get pretty big here.
No, no.
Nasty.
Yeah, no. I come back. Funnily enough, I came back from camping.
Not fond of them.
No. Funny enough,
there's only a few things. I like being outside. There are only a few things that I hate. Snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't mind bugs. Bugs are okay. Snakes. Ticks. What was the other thing that I don't like? There's another thing that I don't like. But snakes is the big one.
Right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Poison ivy. Duh. Poison ivy. I can't. I'm allergic to poison ivy.
Yeah. That's
so. And that really ruins everything.
I can imagine.
Because the big mess that I turn into is not pretty.
Yeah.
I literally explode.
Yeah. Nice. Stay
it
away
doesn't
from
look
that,
good, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And snakes are a little weird thing, only because they're. You guys have snakes?
Not really. Not in the wild. No,
I'm moving to the UK. No ticks and no snakes.
Yeah, we get grass snakes, which are tiny little, like,
Oh no, they're cute.
Yeah, they're like, that's it. No real big snakes.
No, they're worms with mouths.
Yeah, like they're pets. Like
they're pets, right?
Yeah.
Newt. Hello, Newt.
Yeah.
Snakes are. They're just when you look at a snake, there's intelligence there. See, it's my phone ringing too. There's intelligence in a snake.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's like, what am I staring into here?
Yeah.
Like you come face to face with a snake and it's looking at you. It's like, okay, a bear, you get it's bears are equally scary, but I'm just saying, you look at a snake and you're like, what is this snake able to do? Like,
No idea.
I don't know. It's
Could be
just
anything. Yeah.
odd intelligence. It's just,
Yeah.
so it's. I guess I consider them like otherworldly, much more. I mean, yeah, as I said, a
I can
bear
see
is
that.
scary.
I can see that.
A big cat is scary, but
Yeah.
I understand animals. I don't understand reptiles. Don't get reptiles.
I
Crocodiles. Don't
think
understand.
reptiles in general are quite otherworldly. They're a
Right?
bit out of time, a bit out of space. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a dinosaur. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to come face to face with Tyrannosaurus Rex. No,
I
no
don't think
way.
many people would, to be fair, but no,
Right?
I'll agree with you on that one.
And while they say birds are the evolution of dinosaurs, birds are. I don't know. A big bird is not. A big bird is scary, but when you look at a crow and a blackbird or a crow or a raven, and it does the eye thing, right? You
Yeah,
look at it and it goes
sort of
like this and it
twitches.
goes
Yeah,
like this. You're like, oh, it's thinking.
yeah.
It's like, wonder what it's thinking. But when a snake does that, oh, it's thinking it's going to bite me. It's
Yep.
thinking five,
Just
four,
thinking,
three, two, one.
just thinking bad thoughts.
It's thinking how much can I open my mouth to swallow you?
Yeah.
So yeah, really. So you're out there in the forest, and I have you been to Scotland?
I have.
Like
Lo-
very North England.
yeah, love Scotland. It's beautiful.
I would love to go to Scotland.
Yeah.
That's one of my bucket lists.
Oh, really? Yeah, beautiful,
If I ever
beautiful area.
went, if I ever went to the UK, I would not go to London.
I don't blame you.
I would like not even. I'd avoid the city totally
Yep.
and be out there. You know, go to Cornwall to the south.
Yep.
Wales, Scotland. I would, just go.
They're the nicest
And
bits. Yeah, yeah. No, you've got it nailed. Cornwall is beautiful seaside. Wales is beautiful everywhere. And then Scotland is real, like it's out of this world. It's a beautiful area, but it also feels like you're going back in time.
right,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit like going to like Greenland, Finland, Iceland, but it's attached to England.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's attached to the UK.
Yeah, no, it really is like that.
It hasn't separated off the island.
Yep, no, it really is like that. And if you go to the very north of Scotland, like you can see the Northern Lights from there and stuff like that. Like it really is like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, crazy.
And it is very ancient. It's got that. I mean, I look at pictures and I'm like, oh, that's just like throwing you back
Yeah,
50,000 years.
yeah, and there's some crazy things going on in Scotland. I actually went for my birthday last year, which is in November. So it's cold in Scotland in November, um, and we hiked the biggest mountain in the UK is a baby compared to anywhere else in the world, but it's a mountain called Ben Nevis, and I think it's about 1,300 meters. We hiked up to the top of it. And when we got there, there's this really old, like what remains of like a stone village there. No idea how old it is. I haven't dared to look it up. I don't want to find out that it's modern. But it looks ancient and just surrounded by this countryside and this ancient frozen building. It's really surreal. And like I said, a lot of Scotland is
There's
like that.
there's and I can't remember the islands. The islands way off of Scotland, way with
Hmm.
those teeny little islands. Fargo. Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
don't, I'm afraid, no.
There's two. There's two. They're not very large. They have very old. People have been living there for thousands of years, but they're
Sure.
in the middle of nowhere. I mean, in the middle of bloody nowhere. Um, and they found something on the island, some culture that I was watching. And when I watch these types of, I like to watch those types of discovery
Yeah.
shows where, I start watching, I'm like really interested. My eyes pop open and then my mouth opens and I'm like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I didn't even know this place existed. And now not only do I know it existed, but I want to go there.
Yeah. Amazing.
So there's quite a lot. I hope I do come back in another life because I want to just be a traveler. Or maybe if, maybe when I do go, if I'm able to just like float from all the places that I wanted to go to while I was alive, if I get to do that, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I don't have enough. I don't think I have enough time to do all the things that I want to do. I really don't. That's why I want to live until I'm 500.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, for most people with a bit of a wanderlust and adventure about them, you'd probably need to live to 500 to do it all anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I can't just shove, do all my buckets all at once and just say, oh, I'm gonna take off a summer and do my entire bucket list, because if I went to the UK, I wouldn't want to do it in a week.
No.
I'd want to do it over the summer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to touch it and run from one place to the next. And if I were to go to Greece, I wouldn't want to do it in a week. I'd want a whole summer.
Yeah, you want to soak it in, enjoy the culture rather than just the sightseeing and stuff.
Yeah. So you said your birthday's in November. Mine is too.
Oh, really?
What day?
20.
Don't tell me. Mine's the 4th.
Okay. 23rd.
Okay. So you're the end, I'm the beginning.
Yeah.
November's a nice month to have a birthday.
Yeah, no, it's a good time of year.
Not that I have a choice. Yet another little bit of chaos. It's like, okay, you're stuck with it.
This is what it is. Be happy or don't. It's like, it's your choice. Either way, you're getting it.
Really. Exactly. I used to tease my parents, and I used to count back. I'm like, oh, so this is the time of year that you decided to have me, huh?
Yep.
So, if people wanted to find you on the internet, where would they find you?
Yeah, sure. So LinkedIn's the biggest one at the moment. I'm quite active there. Joseph Rudd on LinkedIn. I've also got my own podcast where I interview guests and marketers, which is The Smart Play, and you'll find that on Spotify and Apple.
Very good. So you're also getting into the podcast theme.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun, and you know what? The amount of people I spoke to that just don't get it, because for me, like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't understand. Like, you're podcasting, you're launching this podcast. You're 6 months into this LinkedIn journey. You're starting a business. Like, it's too much at once, and it's really not. Like, a podcast wraps up a lot of things for me. It's a great networking call. You get to have a real conversation with somebody once a week, and that's always a lot of fun. And then that's
exactly how I look at it.
Yeah, me too. And I was already doing networking calls, so I've just shifted networking calls to podcasting sessions, so I lose no time at all. And then in terms of like the podcast itself, like, it's not extra content. I chop it up and I use it as content. It doesn't take any time up from there either. So it's perfect. So
the creator in us, we are both born in November. The creator in us sees things that we have a particular vision that other people don't necessarily see, and there's a certain amount of just do it.
Yep.
That I just do it.
Yep.
Like somebody else would be like, oh well, don't you do bumpers? No. Well, do you have music? No. What about no? Like, why don't you do it? Are you going to do that? I'm like, it's possible.
Yep.
Right now I'm not. And I don't want to think about it because it will hold me back.
Sure.
When I say to myself, oh, this needs to change, that feeling in my stomach, this needs to change, where, no, it's not okay. Like, it's okay. No, it's not okay. That's when I know to change things.
Yeah.
And it's okay right now. I'm not holding it back. I'm merely saying, let's go with it, because I like to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have a vehicle to do that, period, the end.
That's it. It
doesn't
take a lot more than that, does it? Yeah.
It doesn't. And it doesn't need to be more than that.
Definitely not.
As there's a lot of people out there. If there's one person that sits down and listens to this whole conversation and says, I got something out of it, That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
One person. I don't care. I could have 1,000 episodes and I might impact one person. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I did something. And I don't need to be a fly on their wall to see them jump up and down and say, I'm saved.
Yep.
That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for continuity, to know that I think the way I think, other people think that way, or they don't think that way, and maybe I can learn a way, whatever it is. I'm looking for a way for me to learn how to talk with people.
Yep.
And I purposefully pick people I don't know. I didn't know you.
Nope.
We talked maybe once or twice on the internet, and I was like, okay, he's the one. Why?
Let's just go with it.
For November. Okay. Yeah, and go with it.
Yeah.
And I have never had. I can only say I've had a very few where I get off the podcast and I say, each time I literally say, this was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So just different stories, different mentalities, different. Just it's interesting meeting people, right? I don't know whether it's like something that's always been around for me, but like I've always loved reading autobiographies. I love human stories that have got a bit of depth to them, and I think podcasts sort of lend into that same thing, and like having long, in-depth conversations with people it makes sense to me. And then I love the thing that you said there as well, like the one person listening. Like I think I've got 6 episodes published now, and I've recorded about 10 episodes. And I had one person message me, just saying, "Oh, I heard, this podcast you did with this person," and that one message. That's the only thing anybody has mentioned to me about the podcast. But just that one message, I was like, "Cool, I'm doing the right thing. That's it. You got something out of it. I got something out of it. Perfect. It's right." Yeah.
I had somebody tell me that, I found you on Spotify. I'm like, you did? You did? How'd that happen? But that's all that I'm,
Yeah.
If one person can find me, then a few people can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And, I'm always looking for different content. And as I said, and really the most important thing is that it's evergreen. It can be cut down. So the long form can become short form.
Yep.
And it doesn't necessarily need to be, you must sit there for 40 minutes and listen to this whole thing and then you'll be tested.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be that.
No, definitely not.
Well, I've had a lot of fun learning about you.
Thank you.
I hope we keep in touch.
Likewise, definitely. No, I really enjoyed this. Thank you for having me on.
You bet. Anytime. Come on back.
No, I appreciate that.
And have a great week. Where are you going this weekend?
It's actually my anniversary this weekend. Yeah, it's my anniversary on Sunday, and I've got no plans yet, so I need to go look at some nice restaurants and stuff straight after this call.
Do the right thing.
Yeah, I will.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye-bye now.